VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Coming up today, we have Will Brinson, CBS Sports on the NFL in 30 minutes. Sports betting Hall of Famer Nick Bogdanovich in the second hour on college football. We'll recap a lot of what we watched yesterday in the National Football League and get to the opening numbers, current numbers as well for Week 4 in that sport. And we have a double header tonight in Monday Night Football that we will preview a couple of times on the program. Pauly, isn't this in theory kind of what we want in the NFL, where next week we have the first double-digit point spread of the entire week, and these teams are pretty close to each other, and you don't have like a level or a tier of teams that are going to be laying, 14 or 16 or 17 points against the bottom feeders of the league. And all of these dogs have been live since the beginning of the year. And if you watched the games and if you wiped away like the jerseys or the point spreads, you would have no idea which team was a 6.5 point dog and which team was favored. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much the common narrative so far 3 weeks into the season.
Yep. You're still waiting where, the passing game's going to get going and the quarterbacks are going to light it up. Hasn't happened. You're waiting on the offensive line play to get better. Hasn't happened. You're waiting for coaches to step up and do a better job and the officials to stay out of the way. Hasn't happened. Dogs 6+ points or more, 11-1 ATS. And yesterday, Giants, Denver, Carolina, Rams, some big surprises, although the Denver win was over in the first quarter.
Sure.
Tampa just got run out in that game as well. So what it means for Survivor, you're right. What it means to we're waiting for some. I thought Houston was that team. No way. Minnesota punched them in the mouth, and that thing was over early. Chiefs finding a way to win. All the close ones, breaks go their way. Other than that, it's just you can't tell. You're right with the jersey comparison, and we see it all the time in college basketball.
I'm watching every single play of these Chiefs games so far 3 weeks into the season. They're 3-0. They probably should be 0-3. Right? Last night, again, the play calling down the stretch and the decision making not to take points with the chip shots came back to bite Atlanta right in the ass. Why coaches continue to do this? It's happening over and over and over again. Analytics have taken control. Look, you have to buy into it, obviously. But in a tight game, this NFL in 2024 appears to not be the same sport that we've had in recent years.
Yeah.
If you can take the points, guess what? It's 22-20. You have the ball. You kick it then. Who knows what happens? Same thing with Nick Sirianni. He didn't learn his lesson from Monday night.
What's the end game there? With the push with 15 seconds. You don't have enough time to do anything anyways. And as we continue to talk about, if you're going to turn down free points, you better run a good play. And what Atlanta was doing was nonsense.
Here's what I love, by the way. Here's what I love to hear. Everybody says, well, this team, they don't want to show the good stuff. My question is, as we get deeper into this, does every team have like one or two things that are considered the good stuff? Like, how do you not have 100 things that would be considered the good stuff?
Yeah.
You're not, you lack that much creativity and imagine to actually have multiple plays where, hey, I'm going to show it in week 3. We can't go back. Then do something else in week 14. I don't care. You do it once and come up with another game plan.
Right.
That's a thing of beauty 7 weeks from now. If you don't want to go back to the well twice, I get it. But my God almighty, the short yardage play calling is going to make my head numb by pounding it against the wall by the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm. Exactly right. The Bears is an all-timer. You're losing games because of this. People are going to get fired because of this, to run the speed option at the 1 yard line and you lose 12 yards. The offensive line never had a chance on that play, and all 3 guys were on the ground. It's just some of this stuff. How do you come up with it? Mm-hmm. Raheem Morris calling timeouts. So it's a difference between playoffs and if you're going to be unemployed. So you're right. The frustration level at an all-time high, and why we're still waiting for someone to pull away here and show that they're good. I still think Seattle's fugazi, even though they're 3-0.
So do I.
Hasn't happened. Yeah, hasn't happened since '79 that you've held every team under 150 yards passing. But look at the quarterbacks they played so far.
Sure. Like, are you buying into the Steelers yet?
No way. absolutely not.
Neither am I.
Now, they've allowed the total of 6 second-half points on the season, but, the luck's going to run out and the field's nonsense is going to stop, and they're finally going to play some good offenses and good teams coming up that have their act together.
Sure, the defense can only carry them so far, right? Fields will turn into Justin Fields at some point, one would think. That schedule's going to get a lot more difficult, and unless they are playing backup quarterbacks like they did yesterday, then that's also going to improve on the opposing teams and who they're playing. Maybe not this week because they get Anthony Richardson and the Colts, but, man, I can't recall ever 3 weeks into the season where these teams are this close. Here's another one for you.
Yep.
Steve Makinen had this at VSiN.com. So the angle 0-2 teams on the season straight up. When they took on teams 1-1 going back since 2010, the 0-2 teams were 35-15-1 ATS. 5-1 straight up and ATS this week. The lone loser, Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans, who they might be the worst team in football. Oh. I don't know. Things are fluid, right? But he's so bad, and that Mickey Mouse throw that was picked off in return for a touchdown, we said that on Friday. Can you really bank on that happening every week? And you were like, yeah, I think you can. And it showed up for the third straight week for him. Yep.
It's just not a lot upstairs. The elevator doesn't go to the top floor, and you can see that. And I don't see why they don't make a quarterback change as well to go to Rudolph, because that was the only defensive touchdown of the week. He continues to get them beat, make stupid decisions. Those are it kills you from a momentum standpoint, what you're doing, and also the mindset upstairs that he just gave points away as well. That has been a strong angle. Brad Powers also had it 0-2 against the 1-1 or 2-0, 65% going back many years. You're macking a number as well. That's why I like Jacksonville tonight, by the way, and it's down to 4.5. But the other thing with the luck factor, look what's going on in Green Bay. Number one, great coaching. Now, LaFleur's doing an excellent job.
No, he gets it.
Number two, they had 7 interceptions the entire season last year. They've already had 6. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that, it's just a funny game. And how your luck factor is going to change and how it's going to differ from year to year.
What does that tell you about this team picked up Malik Willis like 3 weeks ago? And we all mocked it, right? Or like, actually, I said that he's better than Sean Clifford. I take my chances with Malik Willis over Clifford any day of the week.
Yeah.
I never had any idea that this could happen. What does that tell you then about the previous regime like in Tennessee? And I get it. He's a young quarterback. He can only get better, you would think. But for LaFleur to extract this out of Malik Willis already, I got to be honest, I don't even know if I'd play Jordan Love this week, the way that they're rolling. That might sound stupid, but also that could be a severe injury. And the way that they're rocking and rolling right now with this guy, to go back, they ran 37 times yesterday. They ran the ball 53 times the week before.
Yes.
And Tennessee had been good against the run. No longer.
Yeah, but why? It shouldn't be this hard. This stuff is easy.
Well, that's the thing,
He's
right?
a running quarterback.
Right.
Have some design runs for him. He had 70 yards or 60 yards early in the game. Dink and dunk stuff. Dump off screen passes, safe stuff, right? And then you watch what goes on in Chicago, and they can't even do stuff like that, right?
No, they can't.
So I don't know.
No, I was going to say, this is my analogy then. This is one of the reasons why I liked Miami with the points yesterday, which ended up being a loser for me. Despite, them being down Tua,
right,
I thought
right.
Mike McDaniel, good offensive mind. I've made the case. Hell, I bet him 22-1 coach of the year last year, right? And I have said many times on this show how much I like him overall, and I'm going to give him a chance. I will tell you today, power rating way down. And I know Skylar Thompson got hurt. The game was over with before he got hurt. They had no chance in the game. And I said this last week. Like, how does McDaniel not look at what Green Bay did with Malik Willis against the Colts and say, I can do the same exact thing? Because I got a plethora of good running backs, and that's the only chance I have in this game is to keep it close by running the football. No imagination again yesterday. Mm-hmm. Again, I go back to creativity. I go back to the play calling. It was they had a very early takeaway inside the Seattle 5-yard line, and it was garbage after garbage after garbage, and they had to settle for a 19-yard field goal or whatever it was. I look at that and I say, LaFleur does it every single week. By the way, his opponent this coming Sunday is absolutely the real deal. KOC,
yes,
phenomenal.
Yep.
He does it every single week. And Mike McDaniel just stubs his toe big time yesterday. Like, what's the end game here for the Dolphins now this year with no Tua until like week 8? How do they not pull the trigger and go to Huntley on Monday night? They have to.
Maybe he wasn't ready, but it is a no-brainer. And the other thing, stock way down, as you mentioned, you have to throw in Stefanski, too. After what they did with Flacco last year, that you're two-time coach of the year, and to get a guy off the couch and lead you to the playoffs, how you try a 57-yard field goal on 4th and 1 on the first drive of the game is absolute crap. That was stupid. that McDaniel did. Of all people, he does that. Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe it. I walked out of the cabana. I said, that's it. When you do stuff like that, you lose me. That's just idiotic. And of course,
I don't disagree.
It wasn't even close. So where was the creativity? You have playmakers, and the only thing the only thing that can save your season now is Huntley. So that you better be in there Monday, because if you lose to Tennessee, that's all she wrote. But that is just. I was speechless. A 57-yard field goal on 4th and 1 when you have Hill, Waddle, and Achane. Boy, oh boy.
No, I totally agree with you. By the way, you brought up Stefanski. The numbers on Watson, I think this is a good discussion. Like, who are the worst, 3 or worst 5 quarterbacks in the entire league at this point? You'd have a tough time telling me it's anybody but Bryce Young. He would be number 1, but he's not playing right now. So take him off the list. It's probably got to be Watson. Somebody who covers the Browns went back and tracked this. Through the first 3 weeks, every single year, the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns since the year 2000, he has the worst EPA per passing attempt, per drop back, going all the way back to at least the year 2000. That's a quarter of a century. And they have had a lot. The list of awful quarterbacks that organization has had, unfortunately, and he's worse than any of them.
Yep. They got lucky last week to beat Jacksonville. And as Tony Rizzo said, it's between the ears. And it's all upstairs with Watson. And now what happens when they come out here against the Raiders? But they scored on the first play of the game.
That's right.
The Giants fumbled the opening kickoff.
Oh, they were gifted 7 points.
It was 7-0 Cleveland 5 seconds into the game.
Couldn't do anything the rest of the game.
One touchdown the rest of the game, right. Absolutely. And plenty of and sacked 8 times. Oh, is it bad? By the Giants. They lose and they made Dimes look good again.
That's right. Yep. All right, up next, we will dive into the Monday night doubleheader. Every number through 2 weeks suggests their offense should be in for an explosive game tonight. We'll explain who. Coming up next on Follow the Money, it's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
VSiN is thrilled to introduce a new VSiN.com tailor-made to the evolved needs of today's sports bettors. Our upgraded navigation streamlines your journey, allowing you to swiftly access articles, videos, and podcasts. Whether you're tuning in live or catching up on your favorite shows, everything is just a click away. VSiN.com guarantees a fluid and responsive experience across all devices, ensuring you stay connected wherever you are. We have enhanced tools such as our betting splits and expert picks, and introduce innovative features like parlay and odds calculators, all designed to make you a sharper bettor. Our How to Bet section is perfect for beginners, covering the fundamentals, while seasoned bettors can delve into our advanced betting strategies for the competitive edge you've been looking for. Sign up for free on VSiN.com or become a VSiN Pro subscriber, where you can unlock unlimited access to every tool, expert picks, and insight that make VSiN the sports betting network.
Want to see who at VSiN is on a hot streak? Go to VSiN.com/picks to see all the selections and weekly leaderboard of VSiN hosts, writers, and guests. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber and get every pick sent to your inbox daily. Just head to VSiN.com/pro.
Responsible sports betting starts with a game plan. That means stick to a budget. Keep it social, learn the game, and know the odds. Play with legal operators. And if you need help, reach out. Visit haveagameplan.org to learn more.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Monday night doubleheader preview in moments. How about this tweet from Evan Winter on that Buccaneers-Broncos game yesterday? Sean Payton, when he goes up against Todd Bowles. Now remember, Bowles took over in Tampa. He was the DC under Bruce Arians beginning in 2019. Payton still with the Saints. You ready for this? Sean Payton 7-0. Offenses average 29.7 points per game. 6 of 7 games have gone for 26-plus points. 5 of 7, 31-plus points. Beat him with Breeze, Winston, Taysom, and Nix. There was that playoff game that there was a fumble by the Saints driving in Buccaneers territory. Buccaneers recovered, went on to win the game. And then the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. That was the postseason. In the regular season, 7-0 total domination. Mm-hmm. How about that?
Yeah, excellent numbers. Yep. I should have been strong on that. That's a total whiff by me. I had the Cleveland game right. I said, be careful in Survivor. I wouldn't use them. But that was, Adam Chernoff loved Denver, and he was exactly right. Easy for the Broncos.
Yeah, I had Denver. They were one of my winners yesterday. Had them every which way but loose. In pocket, had them contests as well. So what do you make tonight? We're looking right now across the screen. The Bills are favored by, shop around. I'm seeing 4.5s out there. I see some 5s, and the total is lingering around 46.5. Have you bet this game yet?
Yeah, I took Jacksonville. Again, the 0-2 angle, which has been so strong. Also, they go to Houston next week, so season on the line. And I know Lawrence has lost 7 in a row, but this is a game where I think that this is it. Right? You coming off that horrible performance against Cleveland, you got to protect him. He's been sacked 7 times, only averaging 15 points per game. You're down Ingram again. But I think they're going to be able to hang around here, and for whatever reason, Josh Allen has had all kinds of issues on Monday night. Losing games, turning the ball over, not covering point spreads. That's a big problem. But again, we've talked about it since August. I love this motto. Everyone eats in Buffalo. Spread it around. Makes it very intriguing for the props tonight. Who's going to have the most receiving yards? Does Shakir do it again? Does Gabe Davis, he's going to stick it to his former team?
Revenge game, yeah.
Do they keep it going with Cook, too, in this phenomenal rushing attack? So, good game. Great prop standpoint. It's... Well, the opening kickoff, it'd be a touchback. Yes is minus 425 now. 425. Incredible.
Wow.
And the return's 3.5 again. The total returns under minus 130. I also played both teams to make a 33-yard field goal at plus 110.
All right, I'm looking at some of the advanced numbers on Jacksonville, the DVOA numbers. They're actually not as bad as you would think. I mean, honestly, the team could be 2-0. So it probably makes some sense. Mm-hmm. Where they have struggled is with the rushing DVOA going into this week. They were 25th against the pass overall. They were 20th. Offensive numbers are middle of the pack or even maybe a little bit better than that. And so when they're 25th against the rush with the DVOA, you look at the Bills, they're number 1. Number 1 in the entire NFL. So is it going to be, Cook, last time, prime time, last Thursday, 3 touchdowns in that spot.
Yep.
Does he kill this team on the ground? Is it a mixture of Allen and Cook? Do they bring in somebody else, the backups, like a Ray Davis type? And does he actually maybe go over his props? I did have to pick up in a pinch in a 2 tight end fantasy league. I picked up the Jaguars tight end, Brenton Strange. He's filling in for Ingram.
Okay.
His prop tonight is 27.5.
Okay.
And Lawrence had that good rapport and connection with Ingram over time, so he was like one of his favorite targets. I think Lawrence, and I think he might find him enough to go over. It's a small number. And that's what you like to look at, right? Is like some of the backup guys who come in, they have smaller numbers now. Because what's Ingram's number if he's starting? In the 60s, maybe? So I would maybe take a pop at him, and his receptions, I believe, are 2.5 tonight as well.
Cook's only 63. So you think you get 65 yards rushing. And again, I know it's today's NFL and how bad the quarterback play has been, and Lawrence also, but he's only 220. Lawrence can't throw for 220 yards? Ooh. Wow, how things have changed in this sport.
Okay, so then when you look at the AFC, and you said you wanted to buy into Houston, but you can't. So assuming the Chiefs are going to be there at the end of the year, where do you put the Bills now? Are they...
Ask me Sunday night. I played Baltimore.
That's where I was going to go next.
Yeah.
I think Baltimore, the defense, some issues. The fourth quarter again yesterday.
I don't know what Harbaugh's problem is with that. But
boy, oh boy, are they good offensively.
Yep.
And maybe the Jets.
Yep. Well, I know, again, what Andrews ran 4 routes.
Yeah, that's it.
So always stick, but I love Henry. And Henry's got a lot left in the tank.
Boy, did he look good with some of those runs yesterday.
Running angry, right? Big prop
long
cash.
strides,
that's right.
Fast.
And I can't believe I'm saying this. Baltimore has a kicking issue.
How about that?
He wasn't even close from 48 yards. Not even close.
So you can lose it overnight.
It's in his head now. Mitch, he wasn't even close.
I know.
and it's a big problem now. So you got a coach who continues to spit up double-digit fourth-quarter leads, a leaky defense, but you have to like what they did offensively, and certainly Dallas has issues. But I think they're going to beat Buffalo on Sunday, and then that's they're right back in the picture here. But Buffalo, they're going to be a problem. But I played the history card. You're going to say, okay, you're going to give me an A+ for that. But Buffalo always gets there, and then they slip on a banana peel in January. But
so what if both favorites lose tonight in terms of fantasy, or in terms of Survivor?
So I tweeted it out. We're down to 571.
If they both lose tonight.
If the Bengals lose, I don't even make October. And I had numerous injuries. I know our buddy Indiana Jets already out. I mean, it has been absolute carnage. 16:30 left. If both dogs win, $14.2 million up top. You're down to 571.
Have you done the math? What's each ticket worth at that point?
19, I think, something like that. Yeah. So, I mean, Survivor Sweat going to be open for business early October here, especially if something happens in the next couple of weeks. And you just pointed out to me yesterday, take a peek at Week 5.
Oh, Week 5 is nuts.
It's madness.
You're going to want to put your head in a vice grip and say, get me out of here. Please. It's a nightmare, Week 5.
Anthony, I got your head in a vice.
Yes.
Give me the name, Anthony.
So I have one left pending. Well, let me rephrase. I have two left going into tonight. I got there with the Jets on one of my entries on Thursday.
450 people also joined you. Surprised.
I was disappointed that it was that high.
Uh-huh.
So, and on the other one is Cincinnati tonight. But they might lose by 10 points. I have no idea.
Uh-huh. Well, welcome to the NFL, rookie.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
That's right. That would be so depressing. If I can't even have back-to-back deep runs, I got to the final 18 last year. If I can't even make October.
It's a good question, right? Let's say it's done by Halloween. They should just do it again. Start it right up. Let's go. It's the 13-run pool in Major League Baseball.
I know, right.
We're going with another one.
Fly on in. Rebuy.
Yep. Okay.
Rebuy.
So the other game tonight, the big one then for you, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
And many others with Survivor. Here, I mean, T. Higgins back playing. Bengals, it's coulda, woulda, shoulda. They should have defeated the Chiefs last week. They blew that game. But I'm staring right now at some of the Washington numbers, DVOA, worst defensive team in football after 2 weeks. They have it's a bad combo because they're dead last both against the pass and against the run. So what do you want to do here tonight? Is it going to be Chase going hog wild? Is it Josecki again? Is it everybody going to eat?
Yeah.
Is that the question here?
Yeah, but I'm a little bit concerned about the Cincinnati rush defense, though. Like, what does Robinson do? I want to play Robinson props, and I think he'll get there rushing and receiving. What he'll be able to do. So
don't hate it.
Cincinnati's going to move the ball on him, but you got to protect Burrow, and it's what Cincinnati team am I going to get? That horrific performance week 1, or the team that went into Arrowhead and should have won the game again?
Yeah.
They absolutely outplayed them. Defensive touchdown, and then the crap with the officials late, and you couldn't get the stop. So, again, I like it, season on the line, but also, they know that they also have to get this because suddenly the Carolina game Sunday is no layup. That's a tough game all of a sudden with what Dalton did. So, that's, again, but the points, you want to lay 7.5 in the NFL?
It's a healthy number.
11-1 ATS, 6+ dogs. Dogs 5.5 or more, 13-2 ATS. Not to mention they're winning a ton of games. So I think they'll be able to harass Daniels, maybe force some mistakes. But the first things first, they have to do a better job with the rush defense. And they also have to slow down Daniels. So as much as Quinn can say he's running it too much, if it's 3rd and 6, you're going to take off and get it.
Right. Okay, so you made the case for Robinson. I'm going to make a case for Austin Eckler. On the year, 7 targets. He has 7 catches. He had 47 yards receiving in the first game, 52 in the other. He went over 18.5 receiving yards in 10 out of 14 games last year with the Chargers. So I went back and looked at the Bengals and how they defend, running backs who are popular by catching the ball. Pacheco had 5 catches for 21 yards last week, but since he overall has been pretty good this year, last year in reverse order, so week 17, 16, 15, going that way, Jerome Ford had 3 for 26. Pacheco had 7 for 35. Jalen Warren, 5 for 30. Chandler, 3 for 25. Zach Moss, then with the Colts, had 4 for 28. Etienne had 4 for 34. And then in the next game against the Steelers, Jalen Warren had 3 for 13. That's the last time a running back did not go over 18.5 receiving yards. That's like the primary guy. So Eckler has done it twice. He blew by that number. I bet him over 18.5 receiving. I bet 25 plus at plus 148. I bet 30 plus at plus 180, and I bet 40 plus at plus 410, I believe is the number on Eckler tonight in the game. I did a little bit of a ladder bet with him.
All right.
And plus, there's also this. Daniels, and this could probably benefit some of the slot receivers too, 42% of his passes are either at or behind the line of scrimmage so far this year. Maybe quick. And based on game theory here, 7.5-point dogs could be playing catch-up most of the game.
That's all it was against Tampa. Moss and Robinson to combine 200 rushing yards is 14-1 at DraftKings. And if Chase and Higgins both go off a combined 200 yards, it's plus 450. I think Chase has 100 yards.
I do too. Yeah, I think he goes hog wild tonight. Will Brinson on the show coming up next from CBS Sports. How should we look at the Carolina Panthers now? It's Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
VSiN's got you covered for the start of the season with our football special. For $175, you'll get access to everything VSiN has to offer. With VSiN Pro, you'll receive daily picks straight to your inbox, detailed analysis on every game, and exclusive data like our betting splits to help you become a sharper bettor. Get all of this for just $175 through the Super Bowl. Or try a monthly subscription and get your first 30 days for only $9.99. Don't miss out on this offer. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe.
Don't wait until fall to start betting the NFL. Get a jump start now with the VSiN NFL Betting Guide and get prepared for this NFL season like never before. The guide has in-depth breakdowns for all 32 teams, best bets from our VSiN experts, playoff predictions, award market previews, and more. The guide is out now, and the only way to get it is to be a VSiN Pro subscriber. Head to VSiN.com/pro to sign up and join the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The NFL is upside down after 3 weeks. We continue discussing here Monday on Follow the Money. Will Brinson joins the program, CBS Sports, and also the Early Edge podcast, and he is on the Progressive guest line. Will, good afternoon. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
What's going on, guys? I know. I've seen the numbers for the Circa Survivor. I know it's way down. I mean, my own personal one here at home is, I think we're down under a third. I'm sitting on some Bengals entries that I hope get through tonight. But it's been an insane year for the NFL, and further like perfectly highlighted by Andy Dalton going out and throwing for 300 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. The only quarterback in the NFL to do that this season, and he does it in relief of Bryce Young against the Raiders in Vegas.
Crazy.
Naturally.
So you live in that area, right? Okay, so
yeah.
They were the Chicago White Sox of the NFL with Bryce Young. They had no chance. And now, what do we make of this team after what they did out here yesterday?
So I went back and watched the film, every offensive snap, all 22 for the Panthers, and a couple things stood out. One, Andy Dalton made some insane throws. The touchdown to Adam Thielen, when it comes out of his hand, the receivers on the 20-yard line. The anticipation he threw with was better than what we remember from Andy Dalton. But I also think you can make a pretty easy case that having Andy Dalton in there made life substantially easier for the coaching staff in terms of what they could call. There was a second down. I think it was either the second or third drive. Panthers are backed up against their own goal line. They go empty set, right, and put 5 guys out. The Raiders bring 5. Looked like they were going to bring 6. One guy actually dropped back into coverage. Dalton has a quick little hitter to the left over the top of a defender diving in there. Goes to Deontay Johnson. He's got 2 wide receivers who are going out to block for him. It's sort of like a faux screen type of thing. Rips it around the left edge. First down on the yak. And I don't think that's a play call that the Panthers would have been confident in doing. No protection in the backfield, to help out Bryce Young. Even that quick, easy throw that most quarterbacks could make, his confidence was just shot. And I think that, you also had a bit of a dead cat bounce that I like to talk about, where you fire the quarterback, so to speak. You bench the quarterback, and everybody is on high alert that their jobs are potentially at risk. So I think all of that factored into it. Maybe, Antonio Pierce talked about the business decisions made by the team, but the Panthers offense was night and day different. And it really goes to show you, when you have a average starting quarterback, a veteran who can check to different stuff, make the throws he has to make, and then, make some better throws when he gets in a rhythm, how much better that team could be.
That was incredible. And suddenly, if you win Sunday, you're right back in this, and the season is completely flipped. We're frustrated. Are you frustrated with what's going on with the offense and bad O-line play and bizarre coaching decisions? And who's good? Kansas City finding a way to win, but they could be 1-2 or 0-3. I thought Houston was that team, and Minnesota smashed them in the mouth. What say you so far?
Yeah, it's, Kansas City's good. We know Kansas City will be there. I think Buffalo's good too. Their defense is a lot better than people think. Now, I'm saying this on a Monday. They're going to go out and get torched by the Jaguars as 5-point home favorites, probably. Josh Allen banged up a little bit the left-hand injury, but, James Cook running the ball really well. And we haven't even seen their skill position guys get going. Kincaid, Coleman haven't had much out there. They haven't needed to have much out there yet. But yeah, I think you go across the board, and it's like, there's not a ton of great teams. I do think Minnesota might be a really good team. I'm on board, and I've been saying this for a couple weeks now. I think Kevin O'Connell's a top 5 coach in the NFL right now. What he got last year with Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins, keeping the Vikings afloat when Cousins goes down. You bring in Aaron Jones, who's looked fantastic so far this year when he's been healthy. Justin Jefferson, obviously elite, but to get the performance he's getting from Sam Darnold, I think it was like Darnold's 4 touchdown passes yesterday, according to NFL's Next Gen Stats. He had more than 2.5 seconds behind the time to throw. He wasn't blitzed, and they were playing man coverage. So this isn't like some schematic sort of, easy button type of thing they're pulling. Sam Darnold's just playing good football, and he has the pedigree to do that. If he stays healthy, and I think the MRI was negative on him today, so that's good news. Minnesota's in the mix. And Brian Flores, outstanding job against that Houston offense yesterday. I believe CJ Stroud, 6 of 11 against the blitz, threw a pick. got 1 sack, 5 pressures on those spots. They were getting guys up at the line of scrimmage, acting like they were going to blitz, and then sort of dropping back off those pressure packages, which certainly threw the Texans for a loop, and they weren't prepared. Minnesota stomped them. They beat the 49ers last week. I think they're legit. Tough division, but certainly they could go out and win it. I haven't looked at the NFC North odds. I was going to say, my buddy Will Newman and I actually bet the Panthers at 20-1 to win the NFC South earlier today. I don't know if that's a good bet or bad bet, but hoping they would string together some stuff and maybe get a little cash out option.
I don't blame it. Carolina was 75-1, I think, by the way, at some spots before the game yesterday. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Will Brinson, CBS Sports. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday on the show, and we're like, well, that number's going to go bye-bye now, but is it still maybe worth a bet? Quite possibly. Yeah. And to your point, right, about the Vikings and how they look so far, and Kevin, I totally agree. Kevin O'Connell is the real deal. And at this point, right, and this is a fluid conversation to have throughout the entire year, but Mike McDonald at Seattle, Mike Tomlin at Pittsburgh, they're going to be there for Coach of the Year if they keep winning games. But week 4, Will, this game between Minnesota and Green Bay with what Matt LaFleur is doing with the Packers is huge.
I mean, I haven't gone back. I was watching Will Levis to make fun of Pete Prisco, who's like hyped him up before the year. Sometimes I do that on Monday. Like I'll just watch some film just to be like, "Hey Pete, nice take, you loser." Just on text threads. It's wildly unnecessary. But I watched just we saw obviously what we got from Malik Willis in that game plan last week. And then more of the same this week. Now, that was a revenge game against his old team, the Titans. But, man, Matt LaFleur is putting his team and that offense in really good positions where they can kind of push back Jordan Love having to rush from this injury because they're winning without him. I think, you see it, they're a 3-point favorite at home against the Vikings. You would anticipate that he's going to play with that line. And I do think he'll probably be ready to come back if he wants to. But I wouldn't rush back that investment if I think that we can keep winning with Malik Willis.
Same.
They're doing really creative stuff in the run game. They are, like you saw it where Willis got an easy look on the first play, I think, like to Jaden Reed off a play action. And then he threw a great pass down the field to Christian Watson on the right side. And then they do the read option stuff and he just waltzes into the end zone. There's stuff you can do with the different weapons they have, how they can feature him out of the backfield, how they can pound it with Josh Jacobs, where you can make it work with Malik Willis. I'm with you 100%. If you are handicapping Coach of the Year, these two guys are at the forefront in terms of Minnesota and Green Bay right now.
Do you think the Bengals will make the playoffs?
You know what's insane? And I've been yelling this all week, and I think people know it, but it's like the Bengals are 1-9 with Joe Burrow since they drafted him in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
That is wild. Yep. They're 3-1 just straight up in the third week. Yeah, I think they can make the playoffs. Pittsburgh's hot start, slow start for Baltimore a bit, choking to the Raiders there. You just have the Chargers look good, but Herbert's banged up. I think it's so wide open in the AFC right now that we've seen the Bengals, if they get hot, they can rip off some games. My one concern is that, and I think explosion spot for both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins tonight. I wouldn't. You'd be as sharp as you want. I wouldn't take the unders on their receiving props. Both guys are playing for a contract, and they get the worst passing defense in football in Washington. Burrow should have massive numbers. I do worry a little bit that like these guys are maybe more invested, feeling spurned by the Bengals on these contract talks, maybe more worried about, how does this work out for us versus how it works out for us. And that would be the one concern. The defense too doesn't look like it's going to bounce back. I trust Lou Anarumo, but the personnel might not just be there.
Well, like a minute left then. So far on the year, dogs of 5.5 plus points or more, 13-2 ATS, 9 straight up wins. They were 4-0 yesterday. Are we sure 3 weeks into the season, the Bengals should be laying 7.5 points in this spot tonight?
I don't think anybody should be laying 7.5 points at this point. And the other thing too, guys, is like we've gotten to the point with the NFL where anybody can move the ball very quickly down the field at a moment's notice. And so if you're laying 7.5 points, even if it's Jaden Daniels and he's just taking off running a bunch, the Bengals could be up 10, cruising to a victory. and you're still right there for a backdoor cover. I mean, look at the Ravens covered because they were just a short favorite, but the Ravens are at home, and Dallas does that yesterday. You're probably not getting Ravens -3 or whatever it was. So, yeah, I would be, and even these teasers, you think that they're like good to go, right? San Francisco is going to beat this banged up Rams team, and sure enough, no. Los Angeles pulls it out late. I think I, as someone whose picks have been just horrendous, like picking for CBS against the spread all year. I mean, like I'm petrified of laying 7.5 for anybody in the NFL.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
So quickly here, then you'd say like maybe a player prop. You think both receivers who don't go nuts though?
Yeah. I like both guys to go nuts. I would look at the over here. I think this turns into a shootout. Washington cannot stop anybody, and the Bengals should be pretty pass happy as they have been like week 3 the last couple of years.
Very cool. Will, that was an awesome conversation. Thanks so much for the time. We appreciate that.
Hey, anytime, guys. Have a good one.
Follow him on X. He's at Will Brinson. Early Edge is the podcast as well. Up next, Win Lose. How about this? A 500-to-1 shot that cashed early on Saturday, and it was way too easy.
In the heart of downtown Las Vegas, a sports oasis awaits. Stadium Swim, the ultimate outdoor amphitheater, built for the ultimate sports fans, with a colossal screen that brings the game closer than ever. Reserve a daybed, private cabana, or lounge in the center of it all. 6 pools to dive into as the game heats up. And the best part, there's never an off-season. Open 365 days a year. Stadium Swim, it's always spectator season.
Looking for the ultimate sports betting podcasts? VSiN has got you covered. With a wide range of podcasts covering every major sport, we're here to help you make smarter bets every season. The Baseball Betting Show with Greg Peterson gives you daily insights into finding value on each day's MLB card. And check out Long Shots, where we deep dive into the world of golf betting, providing you with expert insights to help you bet every tournament. Find all of these podcasts and more at VSiN.com/podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Hey, how was your weekend? Better than Mac Brown. Chris Andrews at the South Point offers us every week who will score the most points in college football on Saturday. James Madison, 500-1. Cash it. 53 points at halftime. 70 burger. Brown talking about resigning and then walking it back. Unbelievable what James Madison did. And they were plus 340 on the money line. I couldn't believe the score. I go, what is this second quarter?
Every time I refreshed it, it was another touchdown. Yeah. And I'm like, this can't be real life, is it? Yeah. And then put the game on. I'm like, this is a circus show. What's going on?
Yes.
A 500-1 shot has never been that easy. No way.
Good point. Yeah. You'll never see that again. To come in like that with the points and it wouldn't stop. They took it easy on him in the second half.
Yes, they did.
It was like Kent State playing Tennessee. What happened? BYU plus 240. Ooh, how that game flipped.
Well, that escalated quickly there into the second quarter.
Yeah. I retweeted it. The punt and return was all time. The 91-yard punt. The kid fumbles it. You think it's going to be the K-State ball. He houses it. But that went from 6-0 Kansas State to 31-6 like that. Navy plus 280. Shocked Memphis. Stanford 3-1. Illinois 3-1. How good was Friday night? All three games came down to the final play. Mm-hmm. And he almost got there with San Jose State. Monmouth. Didn't even know they had a football team. Plus 375. They beat Florida International. Buffalo. After Northern Illinois beats Notre Dame, they lose to Buffalo.
Sure.
Hello. Giants plus 250. Broncos plus 220. Rams plus 230. Panthers plus 210. Here we go. Most points on Sunday, Panthers 70-1. Higher than that in some spots. Fewest points, Dolphins 9-1. Come on, McDaniel. Highest scoring game, Panthers Raiders 20-1. Lowest scoring game, tie. Saints Eagles 30-1.
No, it actually should have been higher than that.
It was in some spots, right. Yep. Seahawks Dolphins 10-1. Again, some places say Sunday only, every single game, but considering what the total was, absolutely. First touchdown on Sunday, the early games. Browns 10-1. 5 seconds in. Giants fumble the opening kickoff, and then the Browns do nothing the rest of the game. Onside kick recovered. Yes, plus 350. Cowboys got it done. Good prop.
Well, that's up and available every single week, too. It's something I would never consider betting because onside kicks are so difficult to recover.
Lamar Jackson is now 21-1 straight up against the NFC. Most passing yards, Prescott 10-1. It was Caleb Williams, who was a big ticket until the end. Most rushing yards, Henry 15-1. Most receiving yards, Jennings 50-1.
I had the wrong guy for the 49ers. I thought somebody was going to go nuts.
Yep. Okay.
They took shots to Ayuk, just empty.
I know. Soccer, League One, Northampton Town plus 650. Leighton Orient 4-1. And the meat man pointed it out, almost got the round robin. English Championship League, the league below the Premier League. Those 7:30 a.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific matches are 14-1 to the under on the season. Went 2-1. Lose some. Chris Flexen and the White Sox. He personally is 2-15. He's winless in his last 23 starts. They are 4-29 when he pitches. They have lost 20 straight road series. They are 9-49 since the break. How about the Twitter account? The on X, they gave up now. They're just like, if you want to check the final score, check the MLB app. The other team scored more runs than us. And then they put this up yesterday. Post with the exit ramp on the left, post final score on the right, literally anything else. They have tied the modern day record with a week left, 120 losses.
They're looking in the mirror and mocking themselves.
They
openly.
Yeah, they're already at 120. They close with the Tigers. They're going to face Scooble. Flexen goes again Friday. I can't get enough of this. College football, Louisiana +4 down to +1, lost by 8. South Carolina, Akron under, 46.5 down to 41.5, no good. What was this all about? Purdue +6 down to +1. Run out in Corvallis by Oregon State by 17.
Huge movement, and they never had a chance.
Correct. Maryland, 17.5 up to 23. Beat Villanova by 18. Saints +2.5 to -3. No good. That's the Derek Carr we all know and love. Niners, Rams under 48 down to 44. How about one lose some? We got plenty of these. You guys got the Christmas? A couple people sent this in. Mitch, September. We got the lights up and the Christmas tree up already. Here we go.
Okay.
This is how win-lose started. With the Christmas stuff, the lights that people keep up all year,
right?
No matter if it's June or March, and then the dog videos with the dogs in the snow. But look at this. The guy's up in September.
Yeah, I was actually blown away the other night, driving around at night, and some of the homes that I saw with Halloween decorations that were like full tilt. I mean, it was like an unbelievable job, and I'm like, it's still like September 20th or whatever here, guys. Calm down. And now you're going to take a peek at this.
The guy's got the tree up. He's got the tree up in late September. I love it. Got to move it in. Bad for the Bucks. Clemson 13.5 up to 20, back down to 17. Blew out NC State. Buckeyes over 50 up to 57 against Marshall. Ole Miss, Georgia Southern over 63 up to 68, fell 65. Vandy 21 down to 17.5. Should have won the game. Ooh, Navy 12.5 down to 8.5. Did win the game. Steelers Chargers under 38.5 down to 36. Very big there that they took the knee 3 times at the 1 yard line. Bears Colts under 46.5 down to 43. Seahawks +1 look ahead line went up a 4.5 point favorite. No sweat there. The bad beats. Oh boy. Mahomes over 19.5 rushing yards. He had it easy. And then the 3 kneel downs when he lost 5, 4, and 4 yards on the plays. He finished with 17.
Yeah, he was at 30 before all that.
Yep. Giants
reminded me of the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
That's exactly right. Giants Browns over 38. Missed field goal. Singletary falls down at the 1. Could have walked in for a touchdown.
But that was the smart thing to do.
It absolutely was. I had him. Baylor +2. What are you doing on a Hail Mary? Where are the defenders? How do you lose that game and allow that to happen if you're Baylor?
I could not believe what I was watching in real time.
Oh, Diamondbacks +$1.10. Yesterday, they led 8-0 and lost. Biggest blown leads in franchise history. Kind of big with a week left. Mariners $1.25. Led 5-0 in the 6th and lost. Arsenal 4-1. Allowed the tying goal in the 98th minute against Man City. And late last night, if you went to bed, WNBA playoffs, the Seattle Storm catching 9.5 against the Las Vegas Aces. They lost by 11. They scored 2 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Yep.
Come on. Of a playoff game.
They were potentially going to win the game.
Yes. Great first quarter.
And they could not cover 9.5 points.
Nothing worse in this world, getting bombarded across social media with people trying to sell you subscriptions to betting picks without any transparency. And if you ever get red hot and think your picks are worth money, Juice Reel, changing the way sports bettors buy and sell betting advice. You and everyone else links their accounts into Juice Reel. All your history loads in to the app. Unlock the picks that real talented bettors have their money on. Get paid real money when other people unlock your picks. Fully transparent betting advice from real people only on Juice Reel. Download for free iPhone or Android, REEL, Juice Reel. Get it now. Juice Reel, REEL.
Okay, so how did the Niners lose that game yesterday? It's over with. I'm live on the air here on VSiN with Dustin and JVT. And we actually said, hey, you might want to take a peek at the Rams +9.5 in play here when they cut it down to, I think, 7.
I had some of that, but
never thought they'd come back and win the game.
Moody again misses a field goal. And then the last 4 drives, the Rams get 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. And then red zone issues got him as well. That's an embarrassing loss.
So
with 85%, 80% Niner fans?
Oh, easily. No question.
It's a home game.
Paul, their win total was 11.5. They are 1-2, and the schedule doesn't really get difficult until much later on in the season.
Injuries again. I know Williams a little bit banged up, but this is an embarrassment to lose that game. And full marks to McVay. We rip all these coaches. McVay's unbelievable.
Oh, some guys deserve a ton of credit. There's no question.
McVay's doing a great job.
Yeah, when you look across the league, a majority of teams are not set at quarterback, nor are they set with their head coach.
Yeah.
But the job that McVay has done, no question. Again, going back to our conversation with Will Brinson, I think the combination in Minnesota of Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores as the DC, if they could lock those 2 guys up to like 10-year deals, do it right now. Because I got to tell you, at some point when they get more talent and they can stay healthy, I'm convinced already that's such a good 1-2 combination. Minnesota at some point will make the Super Bowl in the next 10. Like if they stay there for 10 years, they are going to make it to the Super Bowl at some point.
Other than the Jets last year, who makes Stroud look like that? And he also blitzed like 43% of the time.
Yeah.
It's what Purdy said. He gave him full marks after the game about great job with the schemes. I don't know where the pressure's coming from. And they sacked him 6 times, and they embarrassed Houston.
Yeah.
So to have Darnold play like this, and then what they're doing defensively, whew.
Great job. All involved.
Yes.
And so Minnesota did get, and you said this during one of the breaks, like it would have been so Minnesota sports, right? If the news on Darnold was bad. But he had the MRI, and evidently he's going to be okay the way it looks. 4 more touchdowns yesterday. Up next, the worst thing for this organization was coming back and winning. I don't want to overreact. Coming up on Follow the Money, it's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A new football season means a new lineup on VSiN. Start your day with sharp betting analysis.